Welcome to our first episode of TagamiVision. I'm Phil Tagami. With me today, our first elected city attorney, John Russo, child of immigrant parents, raised in the East, came out west in '87, Yale grad, NYU Law School, first elected city attorney, John Russo. Welcome.
Hi, Phil. Nice seeing you.
Tell us a little bit about the role the city attorney plays in addressing the crime issue. And, there are some good questions that have come in from some of our email viewers, I'll say, who are interested in asking questions. And really, we'll use that as a basis to try to formulate maybe a few questions you can answer.
Sure. Well, I mean, the city attorney's office has a role to play in quality of life crimes. And I think the most important thing is folks are always confusing the district attorney with the city attorney. District attorney is the person who can prosecute, who has the relationship with the court system to command courtrooms to prosecute crimes throughout the county, and specifically for the purposes of our discussion in Oakland. In the past, and in most cities, city attorneys do not do anything in the way of crime fighting. City attorneys are, in effect, the general counsel of the corporation, the city of Podunk, the city of Forestville, the city of Oakland.
And that role's changed since we've modified the charter under the strong mayor.
Yes. Well, it's changed because part of when I ran, and I think this is partially political accountability, but it's also a reflection of the new administration in the city attorney's office, or not so new administration, that we believe that the law should be used aggressively and vigorously as a tool to improve our neighborhoods. And so even though we can't put bad actors in jail, we can identify locations and properties that have become magnets for crime and antisocial behavior, and really bang on those property owners to do a better job of cooperating with the Oakland Police Department to clean up the area. And that's been where we have had the resources to go in and do that. That has been wildly successful. So successful, in fact, that the Neighborhood Law Corps program, which is the leading wedge of that effort, has been recognized both at the state level and at the national level as one of the most innovative programs in America.
We've seen increases in crime in Oakland from 2002 to the present date at about 29% on property crime, maybe a little bit more on violent crime. And we've also seen a decreased trend in arrests. So if we took the 20 top cities in California, Oakland by population, and looked at crime occurrences per 100,000, Oakland's had a significant rise in crime, both violent and property, and significant decrease in arrest. There are a lot of conventions as to what has caused that. And I'm sure you have some ideas as well that you can share with us. Tell us a little bit about that. And I'd like to also know a little bit about, I understand recently you've been working closely with the DA's office on actually bridging that gap.
Right.
That, you were talking really about the confusion, but I understand there's some sharing of authority now to help address some of these issues. Tell me, answer that for me.
Well, here's the issue. The district attorney of Alameda County has a big county to cover. And the district attorney spends most of their Oakland resources on the worst crimes, the murders that happen, which happen in greater numbers than they do in the surrounding cities of the county. And so there are only so many courtrooms, and therefore, and only so many assistant DAs. So what the district attorney does, when he looks at his package of cases in Oakland, he's managing his caseload, and he says, well, I'm eating up all these courtrooms and all these lawyers to do the violent crimes, the personal crimes. I don't have the resources unless I'm going to completely forego everything in Pleasanton and Livermore and all these other towns that I'm supposed to serve. Unless I forego all of that, I can't get to the property and the quality of life crimes, misdemeanors, that are taking place in Oakland. Because I can't devote the whole office just to Oakland. And Oakland is so much the biggest city. It's not just a question of Oakland being particularly violent. It's got to do with how big it is vis-a-vis the other cities in the county. We proposed to the district attorney, because we can do this with his permission under state law, we have proposed to the district attorney that he deputize the city attorney's office to handle low-level, because they're misdemeanors, not felonies, property crimes and personal crimes in Oakland, and allow us to do it. The district attorney, with the lobbying of Mayor Dellums, has agreed to do that. The problem is we don't have any additional resources to get to that yet and still handle all of the work of the corporation and all of the law court work. There was a proposal by the police department. It was their proposal, actually. They approached me to do this. I said, sure, I need 2 lawyers. I need 2 criminal lawyers. I don't have a criminal lawyer on my staff. Get me criminal lawyers, I'm on. The council chose not to fund that in the budget. So what's going to have to happen is at the supposedly, my understanding as of today, is at the mid-year or mid-cycle reviews, the mayor's office will take more time and expend more political capital to make that happen. But till then, I just don't have anybody with the expertise on staff, and I can't, unfortunately, I wish I had the authority to just go hire what I thought the city needed, but everything I hire has to be pre-approved by the council. They are the budget authority.
So let's go back. My question was probably a little muddled. Let's go back to, what do you think the causes of increased crime are? And what do you think the causes of decrease in arrests or case closure are?
Yeah.
And what steps do you think can be taken, constructive steps can be taken to reverse that trend?
Well, very few politicians are willing in Oakland to confront this as directly as I'm going to at this moment. And that is, the problem here is the police department has the worst labor contract in the state of California for a police department with a city. There are next to no management prerogatives for the chief to exercise. In this particular instance, you'll recall where recently there was an attempt, and it's going to happen, to move 15 police officers from standing at a podium at the Oakland airport, which could easily be done by the sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department should be doing it, to get those officers out on the street fighting crime. Immediately it was objected to by the Oakland Police Officers Association, and the quote by Officer Baladon in the newspapers was, "It is improved that putting those 15 officers on the street will decrease crime." Well, let's put aside how do you prove it before it happens. How do you argue that fewer police would be better than more police? But listen to what's behind that. Their position is, you have to prove to us before you change assignments that those assignments will meet your objectives. This is like having a battalion